Have you ever prayed and thought, did that even work? Maybe you prayed for something big, and it felt like your words just hit the ceiling and bounced back down. Or maybe you whisper a prayer in desperation, and instead of getting instant answers, all you got was silence. If you've ever felt like your prayers weren't powerful, let me tell you something right now. God did not design prayer to be weak, boring, or pointless. No, prayer, in God's eyes, is powerful, effective, and life-changing. And today, I want to talk to you about how to empower your prayers. Now, I'm not a superhero. I can't fly. I don't have laser vision, and trust me, I definitely can't leap all buildings in a single bound. But I've learned something: when you pray, you're connecting with the one who actually can do all those things and more. Prayer isn't about how powerful you are, it's about how powerful God is. And that changes everything. Let me start with this: powerful prayer is natural in God's sight. Think about that. It's normal. It's not the exception, it's the expectation. The Bible never talks about weak, empty prayers. From Genesis to Revelation, when people prayed, God responded in powerful ways. For example, in Genesis 20, Abraham prayed for Abimelech's household. And guess what? The women in that household who had been unable to have children suddenly could. Boom, prayer answered. In Genesis 24, Abraham's servant prayed for guidance to find a wife for Isaac. And before he even finished the prayer, Rebekah showed up. That's like the biblical version of Amazon Prime's same-day delivery. And then in Genesis 25, Isaac prayed for his wife Rebekah because she couldn't have children. And God answered with twins. Double blessing. See the pattern? Prayer works. Not just for prophets or kings or priests, but for ordinary, everyday people who decided to lift their hearts to God. And that should make us ask a very important question: why do so many of us today feel like prayer is intimidating, awkward, or even pointless? Let's be honest, sometimes we approach prayer like it's a last resort. You know what I'm talking about. Something goes wrong, life is falling apart, and suddenly we're like, God, do you up there? Can you maybe fix this? It's like treating God as our emergency hotline. But here's the thing: prayer is not meant to be a 911 call, it's meant to be a daily conversation. Think about it like this. Imagine you had a friend who only ever called you when they needed money, or when their car broke down, or when they wanted something from you. Wouldn't that friendship feel shallow? You'd start screening their calls. Yet sometimes, that's exactly how we treat God. We ignore Him most of the time. But when trouble hits, suddenly we're on our knees. Here's the good news: God is way more patient than we are. He doesn't screen our calls, but He does want something deeper. He wants a relationship, not a transaction. And let's clear up another myth while we're at it. Some people think, well, I messed up. I sinned. I failed. So God's probably not listening to me. Ever thought that? I know I have. But let's look at King David. This guy messed up badly. He committed adultery, plotted murder, and made some dreadful choices that brought terrible consequences to Israel. And yet, when David prayed, when he came to God with a repentant heart, God listened. In 2 Samuel 24, David's prayer stopped at every plague in Israel. Think about that. A man who had messed up big time prayed, and God answered in power. That means there is no mistake, no failure, no sin so big that it disqualifies you from praying. If God heard David, He will hear you. Prayer isn't about being perfect, it's about being honest. Now let's talk about something that's kind of funny, but also kind of tragic. A lot of us treat prayer like ordering at a drive-thru. We pull up to God's window, give Him our order. Yeah, I'll take some health, a side of financial breakthrough. Oh, and supersize the blessing. Please. Then we drive away and expect it to be ready when we get to the pickup window. But prayer isn't about giving God our shopping list. Prayer is about aligning our hearts with His will. Jesus said in John 15:7, "If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you." Notice the condition. It's not just about asking. It's about remaining, staying close, abiding in Him. When you walk with Jesus daily, your prayers start to reflect His heart. And when your prayers reflect His heart, powerful things happen. Here's the best part: nothing is too big or too small to bring to God in prayer. Some of us think, well, I don't want to bother God with the little stuff. But listen, if it matters to you, it matters to Him. You can pray about exams, job interviews, relationships, your health, even finding your car keys. Yes, I prayed for that too. And at the same time, you can pray about nations, revival, and miracles. Prayer is not limited by size. Now, let me give you a very practical way to empower your prayers. Start by remembering who you're talking to. You're not talking to the ceiling. You're not talking to yourself, you're talking to the Creator of the universe, the one who spoke galaxies into existence. That should give you confidence. Second, pray with honesty. God already knows your heart, so there's no point in faking it. If you're angry, tell Him. If you're scared, tell Him. If you're grateful, tell Him. He can handle it all. Third, pray with expectation. Don't just pray because it's a nice ritual. Pray believing that God is able and willing to respond. And let me say this, unanswered prayers don't mean powerless prayers. Sometimes God says yes. Sometimes He says no. Sometimes He says wait. But every time, He's working for your good, even if you can't see it yet. So let me ask you, what would change in your life if you started believing that your prayers really are powerful? What if you prayed not out of fear or guilt, but out of confidence that God delights in hearing from you? What if you stopped seeing prayer as a chore and started seeing it as an invitation to experience God's power? I believe your life would never be the same, because prayer doesn't just change circumstances, it changes you. It reshapes your heart, strengthens your faith, and draws you closer to the God who loves you more than you can imagine. So here's my challenge for you today: don't just listen to this and nod along. Start praying differently. Pray boldly. Pray honestly. Pray persistently. And watch how God moves in your life. If this encouraged you, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more videos just like this. Remember, this prayer that yields powerful results is not rare, it's normal in God's eyes. And that means your prayers, yes yours, can move mountains.